Hi, hello. Hi, hello everyone who will be joining me today and watching me later. I would like to talk today about adult photography, adult photo shoots, and I have few questions prepared, right? And yesterday I was live on TikTok. And when I come live, there is an announcement, a notice, usually saying that erotic photography is a sexual energy resource. And someone yesterday asked me, who've been on live, can I explain this? Right? So today I took this question and I'm going to answer what that is. Okay? Erotica, sexual energy resource, and in general photography. Let's discuss about photography, because photography is an artwork, right? For me personally, but there are different types of photography. Okay, there are photography, like for example, a simple picture for the passport, right? A picture for a passport. There are photo booths, there are photographers who are creating a certain imagery, and it does not qualify really as an artwork for a very simple reason, because there is no risk in there taking, right? Artist is not creating a freestyle, right? There is something planned, and there is something what people are doing over and over again. And this type of photography I do not consider an artwork, okay? Because photographer has to be in this energy and in this position that he doesn't know what will happen afterwards, okay? There has to be some mystery about it, and there has to be some energy about it, right? So that's why the artwork becomes an art. We all know what artwork does, okay? If you go to any kind of clinic or rehab place or hospital, or in general everywhere, I don't know where you would go, you will see an artwork, okay? Because it does something to a human mind. It makes them feel something, okay? When the artwork, it doesn't have to be beautiful, to be fair, okay? Artwork has to make an effect, okay, on your emotional state, right? On your psychological state, right? Some artwork is relaxing, smoothing. Some artwork asking, you asking a lot of questions, why this presented this way, and so on. So artwork initiated in the way to make your mind to react, right? In the same time, we know the oldest artwork, okay, when we look at the paintings, right, they maintain an energy. It doesn't matter if it's a painting, okay, or it's a jubilee or something, or something what is created, a statue, right? When the person, an artist, who puts an energy into that work, it creates a long-lasting effect, right? That people then admire years after. There are a lot of statues. If you go to exhibitions, museums, you could see a lot of art pieces, right? And it makes that place makes you feel something. You just sense the atmosphere, right? When you are surrounded with the artwork. So there are people who make copies and replicate, or how to say, try to pretend or repaint the same picture, right? But what happens is, when they have to create something new of their own, they're not able, because they are lacking of some knowledge, right? And this knowledge it comes from intuition, imagination, of the energy, right? When we create, we use our energy, and that's why the artwork has a certain meaning and a certain presentation in the way, right? And people feel it, okay? Some artwork which is oldest cannot be even recreated, because by this time no one knows how to, how Michelangelo created, or how Da Vinci made. No one recreated this artwork, okay? It's not lecture, doesn't give you a lectures, it doesn't teach you in university, on anywhere where you go for the art court. I believe that artist it's a gift from God, right? So then you maneuver in the certain energy. It's not that you're planning something to do. It's just the energy goes through you and you create that artwork, okay? You are like a transistor. You are putting that energy through. So when it comes to photography, photography also maintain an energy because it's a part of the art, okay? But it's just created in a momentary way, right? So if you take sometimes months or years to finish an oil painting, you know, or you can do it in a week time, right? It still takes time. And when you create photography, it happens much faster. That's why there are some, concerns about, in general, is it an artwork or not, okay? But does it maintain the energy? The answer is yes, and it's already proven by a Canadian lady. Okay, she did a phototherapy and she proved that this works. And she was working with the images what been created in the past. Okay, so how that is and how I see photography in general, working towards humanity, right? When we create photography, you see the time lane overlap. Something what you made in the past can have an impact for you in the future, okay? And that's how I think about photography. So when you create intimate photography and you are in a certain age, for example, you will be 30, right? This photography will have an impact on you when you're 50 or when you're 60 and even when you're 80. And that artwork that you would create at that moment, right, would have a certain energy, will have certain thoughts about you, right? There is a conscious mind energy put in there. And what that means is that you will remember that moment, even 10 years later. If you open that file with the pictures and that photo shoot was so impactful and was so energetic, that this energy will maintain in that artwork. Okay, so that's how I create. Okay, and just don't do like a crazy snaps. No, I actually focus on my energy, and I focus on client's energy, because that's when the creation starts. That the person who is creating photography for adults has to be in a certain vibration. And the first thing what I require, okay, is not to be nervous, right? Not to be scared, not to be shy, okay? Not to feel awkward, okay? Not to be, in a position that you think, oh, I'm not photogenic, or I don't look well, there is something wrong with you, okay? Because when there is this negative information going through, right? The photographer, if he is a real artist, he can feel it, okay? And then the photographer's job is to convert this energy into a sexual energy, because sexual energy is a confidence energy, okay? Is when you love yourself or love someone else, literally, okay? So answering into that question, what that means on my life, that sexual energy, it's a resource, I can prove you that it's a resource for adults, okay? Adults vibrate with sexual energy, okay? Some vibrate more and some less. Some even block it, okay? And they don't know it, right? It happens this way, okay? But through sexual energy, all the humanity was created. Through this gate, we entered this world. And that's how we turn up being here on this planet. Okay, it has to be a sexual energy there, right? There is no other way. Or, when we children, we were told that, humans or babies being found in a cabbage, or, that someone bring it, like a bird or something. But we know it's not true, right? The adults understand that it has to take the sexual energy into a certain course, right? And it has to something adult to happen, right? So that this would be created. Okay, so that's how sexual energy defines us, right? We are adults and we are exploring this, okay? Then let me tell you, that we actually constantly vibrate with this energy. Okay, we're restoring ourselves with sexual energy. We rebuild ourselves. We feel vibrant in this energy. What happens when you are in love? Okay, you use that sexual energy to create something or rejuvenate yourself. You can clearly see when people feel this sensation on their body and on their facial expression. Okay, because when someone comes to the studio and they feel closed down, awkward, hands, this, you could just understand by the body language, okay, that they are not confident about themselves, about their personality, and they're not good about, expressing any kind of emotions, right? So our body consumes food, right? But what you consume per day is just enough to cover your brain factory needs, right? Your computer takes. 30% comes from food, the energy that we produce, right? The rest, what we produce, the energy, okay? It comes from what? From there, right? From we making our own energy, okay? And adults very often think about certain topics if they are healthy, okay? If they're healthy adults, they do think about intimacy. And they do think about fantasy, okay? And they do think about love and having someone, okay? Unless you're absolutely focused and put your sexual energy into a project, into a business, into a job, okay? That's where, your baby comes from. That could be your baby, okay, as well. So we have the sexual energy and divert it in the way we want, okay? Some doing one way, some doing the other way. Doesn't matter. The fact is that we are using it, okay? We're using it. So sexual energy is adult resource, okay? And if we know how to raise that energy level, okay, we just have a better life, right? Let me just tell you on the couples example, right? We know that couples create a relationship, right? And this relationship then prolong your life with the babies, for example, right? But there are couples who has sexual energy and feel colorful, vibrant, right? Like this orange, okay? And there are couples who just feel alive, like not dead, but, it's not the same life, right? But that all defines by the energy. So someone is not dead or not finished and just together, right? You know what I mean, right? And someone who's having a great time, okay? And totally on a different level, right? So there are different types of relationship, okay? And most of the time in my studio, when I shoot couples, okay, and when couples book a photo shoot, I very often meet couples who have a high sexual energy, okay, who are very good with each other, who have a great time, who are there to express themselves. They are confident in their sexuality. They are confident by doing adult things, playing games, going into role-play scenarios, okay? That's one thing. And when the couple is not okay, then it's complicated, okay? You could see the conflict, right? Someone is, maybe not so excited. When the couple is not together, then the guy is looking at my makeup artist. Yeah? That's the situation, okay? So I hope I explain about sexual energy resource, okay? And this type of energy I use when I create art in my studio, when I create photography for adults, and when I create videos. Because this resource, they can use it later, right? Another example I can tell you. If you put a sexy picture on a social media, you instantly will get a reaction, okay? If you put good dating photos on your dating profile, you will get a date right away, like this, That's already been checked and proven. That's true. Okay, so sexual energy, that's what people want to find. That's what people want to connect with. Okay, this is adults marker. And that's what I'm working on with my adults. Okay, and it needs intuition and it needs creativity, right? To make it. Yes, it needs all of that imagination, right? All of those things. Okay. So different photography, different people create different photography. They have a different energy charge. Okay? And at my studio, the goal is to lift that energy up. Okay? So even if they look and they think that they are absolutely amazing, I am able to lift this and beat it up, right? And put it higher. If people are feeling down and think that there is something not okay with them, right? Then it's much harder. I burn personally much more calories during that photo shoot, okay? Because you're kind of working to prove them that nothing is wrong with them and that they are perfect already, or they have to be this way. That their body knows, okay, how they should be looking at this specific moment in life, okay? The problem with this situation when people are unhappy with the way they are is because there are a lot of high expectations. And what it brings, where it comes from social media, you know? Everyone is advising everything, right? And that's what's happening. So, okay, I'm saying hi today after a small explanation about photography and sexual energy, why you need it and why you need to create this type of photography, because you can do any other photography and you can undress during the photo shoot, okay? But it's like intimacy, right? You can do intimate things and you can feel nothing during those things doing, right? And people are choosing this and they think that this is okay. But there is another way, okay? There is another way, that there is other ways how you can raise your sexual energy and create hot and sexy pictures in a way that you can, feel it. And other people can feel it too, okay? Because again, like I say, if you create the images for your dating in that way, you will be very much successful, right? If you're single, you will be very successful. It will be so easy for you because you will have, you attract a lot of certain fish, Fishing, dating is fishing, right? I don't know why I'm talking about dating, but that's true, okay? Because there are profiles which are very realistic and it's good. People are eating, drinking on the parties or in the birthday or, on the holidays or climbing the mountain or driving a bike. Doesn't matter what you would do, okay? These are all your hobbies and that is great. As long as you have those images that matter for your opposite, that word is I don't know, I need to replace for your match, right? For your match. And everyone who's looking to date someone, they just think about one thing: intimacy, okay? Seriously, that's true. And women and men think about only one thing because it's, it's the first thing what is matter is an attraction. And in that attraction, you are looking for sexual markers. So if you know how to present them, right, it will be a win-win situation, right? Let me just speak quickly now, okay, and say hello, and I have 2 more questions to discuss about couples. About couples, let me quickly say hi, hello. Tonight I am live and discussing photography for adults, photo shoots for adults, and I just replied to a question that I found on TikTok. And they ask me what that means when the images have a sexual energy. It means that you have to put it there. Okay, very often people will come and they think that the photographer's job to put the sexual energy. No. Photographer will just take that picture, that memorize this for you. But how you feel at that moment, what would be your state? What will be your emotional state, physical state? Yes? That's on you, you know? The photographer would not do it for you. It's like you're going to the gym and you have a coach next to you, right? You have to do the workout. He can't do this for you, right? So that's the thing. It's the same with the photography. People just getting confused. Sometimes they think they will come to the photographer and they bring these pictures, the best pictures of hottest models. Okay, and that's exactly what they will get. And you might be successful, right? But the most important is this: we humans, we feel things. Okay, consciously or unconsciously, we do feel things. Okay, so when we're seeing something, you think that we're looking at something. In reality, we're just accepting the information, and then computer here is providing us with the details, and we make our opinion. Okay, the same with the hearing, right? So very often the computer, could be hijacked, and people who are looking into themselves, into the mirror, see a very ugly person. It happens this way too. I call it this distorted image, when they do not see themselves, when they zoom in too much. And when they zoom in too much, they focus on that wrinkle which is out there, and all they see is just a maybe disgusting wrinkle. It's just like obsession, obsession. So that's the thing. For some people, photography or erotic photography, boudoir photography provides a lot of information about themselves. Okay, it's very informative. Okay, to find out who you really are. That's how it works. Okay, quickly saying hi. If you have 6 messages, very nice. If you have questions, I'm happy to talk about it right now. Before I start my question, I am available for a small chat. Hi, hello everyone. I can see your hearts. I can see your hearts and I can see everything. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, hello. Oh my gosh, I am beautiful. There's someone is saying good, you have a good taste. Okay, can I photograph you? Okay, can I photograph you? I did some photo shoots. Okay, I did some photo shoots earlier when I was younger, and I'm really glad that I did, because there was a very sexy shots there. Okay, and now I'm older. I was thinking, actually, I have this arrangement with one photographer. So I would work with certain people only. I want your energy to be with me forever. I'm not leaving anywhere. Okay, I am here on live, and I will stay quite a long time. I will stay quite a long time, so you can see me around. It's not gonna go anywhere. Wow, okay. What ring size are you? I want just okay. Today's questions will be about couples photography. Okay, couples photography. I spoke a little bit about dating. Okay, dating photography, it's how to say, it's standing out straight away when you're doing it with the professional. Okay, but there are very stiff shots there with the dating photography, because you see people from a different world is taking pictures, right? Very often when you do a professional photography, for your business or for a LinkedIn, it doesn't really work there to convey the sexual vibes, you know. So people use that for dating, and then their profile look very serious. Okay. So that's the thing. I don't think this is, you should use this, right? I think it's better have few pictures and few videos, but they are absolutely focused, okay, on meeting someone, right? Not just in general, I'm somewhere, you know, on holiday or sitting with my dog or something like that, right? So when you apply yourself and put time to this, and the best way I could tell you, you can imagine a date and you can choose few outfits and you can do even selfies, the best selfies. It is so now straightforward. Everyone has a window, everyone has a phone, okay? You can do selfies, right? Just try it. Make, I don't know, 30 for each outfit, minimum. And then choose, okay? The problem with choosing is this, okay? And very often I've noticed this. People are choosing the best picture they like, okay? But very often you see this is not you who's gonna date you, okay? It's gonna be your match, right? So you think this way, that you're meeting someone and you create something for that person, right? Because there are majority of guys here, I can tell that you think about that lady, right? And with that energy, when you have someone in mind, you take a picture, okay? That's what that means when you're placing the energy into photography, not just doing it, okay? You try to visualize this and then take pictures, okay? Because it's an energy, it's visible, right? The moment I start imagining something, my face is changing, you know? The face is changing when you imagine something sexually. That's why I'm saying it is important to put that energy. When I'm creating adult photo shoot for people and I'm putting into them, or how to say, making them feel something, right? Something intimate. That's why they change, and that's why there is a very big difference between before and after. Okay, when there are mature couples who would come to create a photo shoot, even if they're conservative, even if they look already old, you know, but when they go in the sexual energy, everything about them changes, okay? And I think, oh my gosh, they feel like they're 30, okay? But they are in their 60s. That's what a sexual energy does. I wish you could see this. I hope you believe me what I'm saying, because that's exactly when I know that this is in, that this is the moment when it started. Okay, I shoot, and it's not. Okay, and for some people it takes half an hour. For some people it takes 1 hour to go there, right? Some people take even longer, 2 hours or so. That depends on individual, right? But the moment they allow themselves to be adults and feel the sexual energy, seductive, flirting, right? Honest with each other, recognize their body and approve that emotion in their body, not block, not stop, not being shy, not being awkward, you know, or embarrassed about it, right? Then, you know, many things change about them, about it, people around them, because I can feel it, you know? Okay, do you like cameras? It's not that I like cameras, but I like my camera. Okay, I really like my camera. I like it so much that I have not changed it for many years. So can you imagine? It's like, you know, people when they have a phone, they constantly want to change it into new one and to new one, and I'm not. I'm quite old-fashioned, so I stick with my with my old camera. But I also have another version, which is very advanced. Like I have this like oldest one, and then the newest one. Okay, that's a big gap, right? So I operate this way, okay? But it's not that I am a camera expert on every brand and so on. That's not what I am. I'm an expert on the sexual energy, okay? I know how make people feel this, you know? So that's what I am. I'm actually celibate 3 months now. 3 months is not that long, okay? When people are going into a breakup and there is a reason to stay alone and just re-edit themselves, okay, they stay longer. So 3 months is, you know, it's not that long, in my opinion, but maybe for you it is, okay? So we are all different and we understand these things differently, but I believe that's not a tragedy. Sometimes you have stay and have a break for some time, right? So then you will appreciate the next person who will come into your life, okay? So enjoy that time, okay? Enjoy that time for yourself, right? I want a book, okay. I don't think you can book. Okay, I don't think you can book because I am in London. I'm just translating and talking about it and expanding your views. Okay, but today I got a message on TikTok as well from one guy who really was talking about his mom. And he's saying that his mom is 67 and she would really like to have an erotic photo shoot, you know? Boudoir session in lingerie. And what I said to him is that I am not based in US, but to have a sexual energy inside you, it's never too late to do it, like never. And I really appreciate when people, even at that age, thinking that it's not too late, okay, that they can do it. It's great, you know, it's great. Because very often there are these worries and concerns, I'm too old for this, you know? And this starts already at 40, you know? So 67, if someone wants to have a hot and sexy picture and think it's not too late, I think this is very hot. It's a very good mental state. Usually when people maintain sexual energy through life, they act younger, they feel younger, they have a different energy about them. Okay, that's how it is. When you just stop this energy, you're getting older. Okay, so aging for human is inevitable. After 25, everyone is aging. Everyone. Okay, but aging, it can be fun, right? It can be an experience which we cannot avoid. The problem is when, you know, people getting old. And when they're getting old, they don't want anything. They become grumpy, when they become angry, they become, you know, easily, you know, upset, annoyed, and so on, right? So that is what I'm saying, okay? Do you want to hear a joke? Okay, do I want to hear a joke? I don't understand English jokes. I'm not English. I'm not American. What you can say to me? What kind of a joke? You know? You're breathtaking. Ooh. I'm glad you think this way. Okay, I did 500 crunches today. They were all Doritos. Okay, someone is talking about food. Food is one of the addictions we have, and we know that the food before was just to consume and get your energy, right? Now food becomes sexy, okay? And people are having different kind of erotic fantasies with food, right? And we associate certain products with food that are sexy, like for example strawberry and champagne, okay, or chocolate, right? Or, you know, how to say, you can think about sushi, eating from the naked body, right? There are different kind of ways, you know, cakes and stuff, right? Desserts, a lot of things that we can think. Even, you know, some feel think sexy is the raw steak, you know, raw meat is sexy. I had this obsession about fish, but I like to watch. I like to watch this fish, you know, big fish, different kind of fish. You know, and it's not like I was ordering and eating them, and I feel sorry for that fish, you know, which was caught and presented for food. But it just was like, you know, I love this, to watch this fish. I kind of, that's, you know. In general, I think grill is sexy, always, you know. Grill, meat on fire, food on fire, you know, that's my opinion, okay? Okay. You look 67. Someone is very keen here to tell me how old I am. You look more like 27. That's a very big gap. Okay, that's a very big gap. And can you imagine, when talking about this, there are people who seeing things differently. Okay, for someone is 67 and for someone is 27. And it means that their brain operating in a different way, they grow out in a different way, okay? They are surrounded by a different atmosphere, clearly. And of course, evolution happens for them differently, okay? You know, I can accept and 67 and 27, seriously. I don't care. Okay, let me just... I am 45, so I am old. No, 45, you are not old. At 45, people just starting their life, adult body and adult mental state just grow into, you know, adulthood, right? So you stop being a child, right? And you become an adult. That's how I think, okay? So that's my opinion. Okay, thank you so much for your messages. It was great to chat with you. I will have another break after a question, which I'm going to answer. So there are, I'm 20, true that, okay, I agree well. Okay, you can talk with yourself now, and I will come back in a moment. Okay, question now. Question comes from a young couple because they're talking about girlfriend. So looking to get a pro video of me and my girlfriend, and no, my girlfriend and I having intimacy. Right? I cannot say this word kex. So I'm using intimacy, right? Maybe a 1 hour video. Okay, so this question is about video shoot, and they think that they would like to film for 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour video. I am just thinking, do they want the video be 1 hour long, or do they want a video shoot for 1 hour, right? So it's not really clear, but I will answer in the both ways. So looking to get a pro video. The pro video is always a pro video when you're shooting with the pro cameras, right? When you have pro lightings, pro cameras, there is no other way that to make a pro video, which my studio is equipped with, so that's not a problem, right? Which having keck scenes or hardcore scenes, maybe you would understand, so they will be banging here in my studio. That's the situation, okay? Which is fine. There are couples who would like to come to the studio to the studio and just straight away undress and have intimacy. There are people like that, okay? They don't want any, you know, foreplays or makeovers or outfits. There are some people who just want to undress, get naked, and go to business straight away. There are this type of photo shoots, okay? And there are photo shoots when people want to invest their time in a different scenarios, wear different outfits, and bring a luggage or two with them, okay? And they trying these scenarios in the way that they want to play out, act out some scenes, okay? Have some kind of a maybe, you know, situation leverage, okay? Whereas someone is dom, someone is soap, okay? Different kind of shoots. Maybe someone is vanilla and not considering any of that, so it's going to be a lot of romance. So that is the question. What will be the video about? But pro video always come with the pro editing, okay? So that's another thing. So it means that we will shoot the scenes or we will shoot just, you know, how to say, one scenario, right? But post-production is a must. That's what that means, pro video, that you have an edited content. And usually what I do with edited content, I provide different lengths of videos, right? 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, okay, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, right? It's a mix depending on how many footage I have. So usually I provide a collection, you know, created from that footage. Also, I offer a package when they have movie stills extracted from this content and when they have GIFs. Okay, and the GIFs are sexy moments, hot moments in that video, right? And it's a GIFs collection. So now they are saying that maybe a 1 hour video. Okay, so 1 hour video, if you shoot 1 hour video content, you most likely will have 40 minutes of footage. Okay, depending on how successful you are. I would recommend, you know, people to practice this at home. And then come ready, right? This way, okay? And then we will shoot 1 hour video. But there are people who would like to have a final product which is 1 hour long, okay? So when there is a final product 1 hour long, we have to shoot it longer, okay? Longer. And then I would put a lot of requirements on this 1 hour video. Because would you want to watch yourself being in 1, 2, 3, 5 positions for 1 hour? I don't think so. Okay, you have to nail, like you have to put on the show that it's not gonna be boring to watch, because 1 hour is the whole movie. So I would usually, if we have this type of project when there is a 1 hour video, there has to be some scenarios, there has to be some planning, there has to be different lighting, different settings, right? Different setups, backgrounds, okay, different lenses used. Like there are a lot more involved if you want 1 hour video, because I'm looking about, you know, quality. And not only that, you know, the frame and the camera setting, you know, or the, no, I'm looking about entertainment part, okay? And then entertainment part, you see, doesn't come from me. I am not in that video. So can people shoot 2, 3, 4 hours, hardcore scenarios? The answer is yes, they can. There are some guys who can, okay? And they want that. They want that. They can shoot half a day. Not maybe all the time they are natural during that performance. Maybe they would use something, okay, some help. But yeah, there are different shoots. So when I have this specific question, looking to get a pro video with my girlfriend and I having sex scenes, right? Maybe 1 hour video. I can interpret it in few ways, okay? But most of the time I would believe that they would like to shoot for 1 hour and then create maybe half an hour of video content and then have a collection for themselves to look at later, at what they've created, what they've done, okay? How they performed, how they were hot with each other, right? How they experimented, you know, during that shoot. So that is all about, you know, and this is very popular. People just want a video. When I started working in adult business, right, which was 20 years ago, okay, I was doing just photography. I was doing just photography. I never thought I would do videos. And then when I moved in this make love scenarios and love stories, it was obvious to me that you can't just finish and send these people home with a, you know, with a boner. It was obvious to me that they want to do something else, you know, and there are couples who want to have intimacy. That's the whole point of that thrill, to feel that adventure and excitement and passion and desire with someone like this, you know. That's the whole experience, okay? And some people don't. They don't want anything like that. So there are different couples, okay, with a different understanding about the things, how they should be, you know. So I'm making these videos and I'm explaining, right? What's the option? Okay, I have one more break now and I can check what you are telling me, okay? And then I have the last question, which arrived today. Last question. Okay, what I see is this. Is there any way I can watch your videos? That your videos, I can tell you today, one guy on Telegram is asking me, but he was polite, okay, and I get used to these questions a lot. Can I get your pictures and videos where you're naked? Can you send me? And he said that you are very hot, okay, and I said to him that I am a photographer, okay, and there are models who provide this, who create this. And photographer and the models are two professions, okay? But it doesn't mean, okay, that every woman who is looking attractive, okay, is an escort, is it? So what the guys now are confused in this society is this way, that they think everyone is selling their body. Like everyone is interested in that. Do they? You know? There are people who is their job. They doing it for money and they actually enjoying this. I work with the models who enjoying this, okay, to sell themselves. Okay, and they're, you know, and they're proud of this. I'm working with these people, right? But not everyone is an escort on this planet, okay? Unfortunately, there is a lot, and there are a lot of young girls who dream about this. It's like a new specialty. No one wants to be now, you know, an astronaut, you know, or a doctor. They want to be an escort, okay, because they don't care. This is an easy way. They think this is the way to live life, and that's fine, okay? Everyone who is over 18 is an adult and take responsibility for their life. Okay, but what happens with men is this: there are so many escorts around that they are confused. Okay, they're confused. They think that everyone is an escort. What can I say? And then he's saying like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Okay, I said, "Don't be." You know, I heard this too many times. I'm not even offended anymore. Okay, I just constantly hear this. You know, these invitations for me to take my clothes off and send videos to everyone. Okay, that's what people think now, today. Before, when I came from, and that was a long time ago, you would get a slap, you know, and it's not a gentle slap. You will seriously get a slap, or someone, you know, will beat you. If I would say my brother or a father, you would be beat up, or, you know, I don't know, someone will spit in your face. That was the olden times, okay? And now it's, you know, people get used to, right? So that's how we live. It's okay. So the answer is there any way you can watch my videos? You know, I can tell you this. When I was doing erotic photography, I did practice on myself. Okay, so I'm good at selfies and I can make my own hot video, but that's gonna be for my men. Okay, you understand what I'm saying, right? It's not for public. Right? I believe it's normal to have a communication with your husband or wife, right? When you sexually active, even through a medium like photography and video, and stimulating each other, right? And talking about each other's fantasy. This is, you know, this is like your another base and the language that you can develop together, right? Not only speak about it, you can express yourself creatively, right? Why not? That's why we have phones, and on the phones are cameras, right? So I'm welcoming, because there are a lot of couples who would say to me that we are doing this and we are practicing in the bedroom, and now we want to do it professionally. Okay, I'm welcoming all of that. So is it, when it's between girlfriend and boyfriend, great. Okay, when it's between husband and wife, amazing. Okay, but when you're doing it with escort, you're doing it for money. You know? You know? So that's how it is. I mean, there are people who are sending this for free, you know? There are people who are desperate, yeah? So there is this type of situation as well. Okay, so what is this question? There is no other way, right? Hello, this is this. How are you today? I am great. I had a great day today. Love you, love me, love you back. I think it's all the same. Don't know what is all the same. I don't see your previous messages, unfortunately. So that's why it's hard to comment. Okay. Now they might like it. Who would like what? Okay, Julia, where are you from originally? Your true beauty, loveliness shines. You know what it shines? It's because I'm speaking I am in my topic. I am in my zone. Okay, that's why it shines. You know, I'm not pushing here hard, right? That's what is shining through. You know, there is an authentic energy that people have. And when they have it, you believe what they're saying. You're actually feeling it. It doesn't matter even what they're saying, right? So that's what it is. And I am from Lithuania. You know where that is? Okay, love you, love you. Right, great. Are you married? I am a widow. Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much for your questions for now. Let me just go back to my clients asking me certain things and I'm replying to messages. Hello, looking into courses as well as info on memberships. My wife and I have been thinking about a photo shoot for a while of the more erotic nature. How beautifully presented, more erotic nature. More erotic nature is more than boudoir. Okay, because what they think is that boudoir is an erotica, but in reality boudoir is a very limited photo shoot. Okay, it's a sensuality, sexuality, semi-nude, could be nude photography. It's all portrayed in a way that it's how to say, showing less and affecting you more, that kind of a situation. And then it comes nude photography, nude art photography, and then explicit photography, which is a very close-up and which is a very turn-on situation, okay, or close-up or turn-on situation. And then I would believe there is an erotica. An erotica when people go into sexual energy, they're not themselves anymore, when they are free, where there is no judgment, there is no overthinking, right? They just in the moment and they appreciate that this moment happened to them. And they want to be and vibrate in that moment because you see they are not able to come back to that moment ever again. When we live and we create special occasions, maybe we plan it, maybe it happens to us, but we are not able to go back in the past. Okay, what happens with the photography is that we can overlap, okay, the past and the future with the photography. So we can think about the future that we are presenting a certain energy for us for that moment when will be lower in energy source, right? When we will go older, I don't know what will happen to us, right? There are a lot of traumatic situations when the energy is drains down. There are a lot of people who surround us who takes the energy, right? There are different kind of circumstances are available out there, okay, that it will, one way or the other. And I am pleased and happy for those who will maintain and even grow the energy over the years. That would be ideal situation for me, okay, right? But with erotic photography, what I do is I am working on creating a base, creating an archive that you can go back to, right? And remember how sexy you were, and get that vibration to your body, right? Because the energy is something what we feel, and we can feel it over the years through the same photograph, right? That's how phototherapy was based on, okay, on extracting that energy which was created in the past, and you were using for therapy in the present moment, so that your future would change after this, treatment. That's how it works in a phototherapy. I am doing something maybe similar, maybe not, but I believe that at that moment we're very conscious and consciously choosing to feel certain things because we are adults and we are in control. Younger generation, not that much in control, to be fair. Okay, that's why when it comes to relationship, we all know that there are different types of relationships, right? At 20 years you have one type of relationship in one energy. At 30 years you had a different, and so on and so on, okay? And the later you get, the more conscious you are about your energy and about who you are, to be fair, okay? You can, how to say, acknowledge and even list your imperfections to a certain level. And while you're young, you're just experimenting and finding out in the contact, being in the contact with other people, right? So that's the thing, relationship is where our sexual energy evolution happened the fastest, right? Because we have someone there to reflect us, okay? And to stimulate us and to develop us, right? And at the same time we do vice versa, right? We respond. Yeah? That's how we also project. So we use sexual energy to produce certain things, right? And we produce, like I say, we produce health, we produce relationship, we produce financial state, okay? We produce understanding about who we are as a personality, intimate personality, sexual personality as an adult, okay? Because only adults have these hormones and only adults vibrate this energy, okay? Children don't, So we grow into our sexual energy, right? And when this energy kicks in, we meet our alter egos. And alter egos responsible for adult fantasies. Yeah, that's why we have different fantasies. Okay, and also it responds on our addictions. Okay, and so on and so on. So when I talk about photoshoot and erotic nature photoshoot and what it is saying, more erotic nature, it means alter egos. So these people who are talking this way to me, and I have the sense and I'm just guessing, okay, but they're mature people, okay? So they want to know more about erotica. They know erotica, but they want to more, more information about its nature. And that means to feel and meet the fantasies. Okay, and in the fantasies you act in a way that you would not normally act, okay? And you would experiment in the way with your intuition, with your imagination, right? And with your, how to say, an attitude, right? There are some things that you would like to accomplish or try, okay? And they require some bravery and honesty, okay? So that's where you're aiming at the higher sexual vibe, because the more you're honest with yourself, the better it gets. It's the same like, you being in the orgasm and being in the climax. Okay, you can feel it in two different ways. One is when you're shy, scared, and when you're holding it, and when you're trying not to overly react. For example, when you're in a photo shoot and when you're doing it loud, right? Or you're doing it noisy, or you actually do not control it, and finally during the photo shoot or a video you want to climax and you're holding back. Okay, it's very sensible. okay, to act this way. People want to control, you know, everything. They put that logic in and other feelings, right? But when it comes to sexual energy, it's a freedom. You need to let go, and you need to allow yourself. And you know, when you allow yourself, then when it happens, this abundance in that feeling, okay? And when you experience this abundance, you actually experience abundance in the other fields, okay? In the other directories of your life. So that's why you need to start from yourself. If you want to live an abundant life. And that's what I see here, that the couple who are in a mature age thinking to explore a little bit more of its nature, of erotica. And that's who are my perfect clients, because I want to know about their nature. You know, that's what I'm here, to record this, to analyze it, right? To dig deeper with them. That's what I want too. You know, that's why I'm here on this planet. This is my job, to understand about this, and of course to preserve this, okay? Because we are, like I say, we came off the track, and now we're buying everyone, you know, we're buying the feelings, we're buying love, we're buying intimacy, right? And when I say we're buying, I mean like literally, okay? Very recently there was this guy who booked a photo shoot with the hot and sexy model. But in the reality, okay, in the reality, his fantasy was to be and book a photo shoot with me, like with me, right? And after the shoot, he you see, he didn't say this to me, right? After the shoot, he said that he was so turned on because I was there. And because he was a businessman, he was offering this money, you know, like, what is this price? Surely you have a price, you know? No. I'm not interested in money or in any kind of, you know, power or whatever, you know. I'm not interested. I'm doing this as a researcher, maybe, because every human energy is different, and I am meeting their energy. I am participating in this process, and that's when you are the most vulnerable. It's in your sexual energy, okay? And that's why I do not recommend people, you know, to go around, you know, with anyone. There is one time when you are protected, okay, and allowed to do this, when you are maturing. When children growing up in general, and people who have children, they must understand that children, when they get their immune system up or developed, they take a different shit in their mouth, you know. They literally can take a shit and nothing will happen to them, okay? Because they are developing their immune system. They're growing and they are overcoming a lot of illnesses, diseases, the most horrible ones, okay? And that's how they, you know, evolution goes with their body, okay? When it comes to sexuality, we also have to do it, and we also, you know, allowing a lot of things to happen to us, right? In terms of understanding what we like as an adult, as a sexual being, what our body enjoys, how we accept this, what our preferences are. We're trying things the same way. So at that time when we are creating our immune system sexually, right, it is okay. But when you reach a certain age, right, then, you know, people change and something switch, and they do understand that there is a certain reason why would you be with that person and why you would not, okay? So we choose by the energy. We do not choose anymore by the body experience, because we gather that information. And some people have not done, for example, this work. They've been in a relationship for 20 years, imagine, right? Because nowadays, couples, you know, they split up, and you can have 3, 4, 5 relationships over your time, like serious ones, right? Or some people stay with that same person, but their relationship would always change as well in that one couple, okay? I mean, people reinvent themselves, Okay, and in 30s they act and be one way. In their 50s they act and being another person, another way. Everyone is changing, right? So there's certain dynamics in the couple, and in 70s they are totally different. So there are different relationships, but with the same person. Okay, so there are different ways how people live this life. Okay, and sexuality is one of the, let's say, energy resources that you actually discover during your adulthood. Okay, and if you maintain that energy levels high, then you look and feel young, you know, and you will keep having an interest into life and into uh, other people, right? Men will be interested in women, women will be interested in men. If this energy, everything is okay with you, right? So that's what happens. So mature people, when they reach a certain age and a certain maturity, they would like to know more. Where is there anything else? And we know, like I say, okay, we know that there are different couples. One are not dead, and the other is alive and vibrant, right? And these are two different couples. You can see that they're different visually, but guess what? They're living a totally different life together. No, seriously. They going through a different path. One is living one life and the other is living the other life. And we are here, we have a choice, right? We have a choice and we have one ticket to the concert. I like this saying so much, one ticket to the concert. So you can stand and watch, or you can just dance and enjoy that concert, right? Because it will pass, it will finish, it will be the end. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, very quickly I will mention about the course. There are 2 courses available at my studio, and it's going to be an adult photography course, obviously, right? And photography course, of course, it will be an adult nature, and we will speak topics, intimate topics, okay? How to create adult photography, which is beyond boudoir, okay? That's what I'm interested, that's what I'm creating, and this is something for adults want today. They do want more. They do want explicit, they do want to shoot make love scenes, okay? They want to do experiments, okay? And they want to feel this thrill and they're looking for it, okay? So that's why I will be, you know, the mentor of this course. There is another course which I call it Eros Transformation course. And this course is for adults who have children vibration. So this is very often happens, okay? And I know this because I was one of them, okay? So child's vibration is when you are feeling shy when it comes to your sexuality, intimacy, undressing, relationships, approaching, you know, someone. Shy, awkward, nervous, you know, when you need a dark room to undress, when you don't want to do things in the light, when you are, you know, thinking something is wrong with you, you know, or too small or too big, or, you know, to something, right? There are many things, you know, people are feeling guilty, people are feeling, you know, how to say, unpleasant, people feel different kind of negative emotions, okay, because of their upbringing, maybe because of their traumatic experience, okay, because of someone said something, you know, and it's stuck in their heads, right? So these people, right, they will benefit from the course, which will be about them and about erotica, about sexuality, being in a group and hearing how others having the same issues, because we do have very similar issues. People don't think that they are photogenic. They are scared, you know, when it comes to their body, their intimacy, right? They are not very much creative, I would say, right? Or experimental, okay? And so on and so on. So there are a lot of reasons why, okay, to understand who you are, to become confident, braver, and more calmer, more adult. When you have an adult conversation, it's very simple to check. Can you speak with someone about your intimacy? If you're feeling shy or awkward, or you scared and you don't want to talk, even not even thinking about taking a picture and sending someone. Imagine you send the picture to someone, okay? No, seriously. Because when I was, going through this erotic photography, I tried on myself. I remember once I was loading my pictures to the computer or something like that, and it showed that it went somewhere. To some kind of a neighbor, I don't know, network, I wasn't connected right. Oh my gosh, I remember I nearly had a heart attack. Okay, now at the moment I don't really care. Seriously, I'm so much relaxed about this. Okay, so that's how adults will feel. But when adults feel negative emotions, feeling nervous, embarrassed and so on, that's how they are in a child's vibration. Because children are scared, and shy when it comes to sexuality, right? So that's how it is. And what happens when we find someone in a relationship, in their marriage, fall into a child's energy? Most of the time, these people stop having intimacy because adult energy and child's energy crash. And in that energy, it's like an incest operation. So the husband doesn't want his wife anymore, or wife, doesn't want his husband, don't want any intimacy, and they live like this, okay? And then, if you would see it, then you would obviously see that maybe one is complaining about the other. And who is complaining? Children complaining, right? So there are many proof about it, about this energy, and I really like this to discuss about that, right? So the last thing what I'm going to say is about online galleries and memberships. I am the one who will be creating online galleries, and of course online galleries will consist of adult content, which will be photography, which will be videos, and which will be gifts, and which will be galleries colored in black and white. Okay, and that would be loaded to Telegram. It's already loading. It's already loading, and people asking about this all the time, and I am praying, okay? I am praying that every day I would just stop doing what I'm doing and I will start from these galleries, because that's what I want to do. Okay, I have a huge archive which stored, in drives and wants to see a daylight. Okay, and I know that people will benefit from all of this energy and from looking at this artwork, because it will make them feel something, definitely. Okay, it will be the best possible energy that comes from that. Thank you so much. I'm quickly answering last questions if we have 59. Very good. I will be looking later, okay? I always check the questions, okay? And if I see a very good question, the next day I will add it to my life. So don't worry, it's not gonna disappear. Okay. Okay, so hi again. Thank you for your heart. Again, can we make a video together? This was, okay, let me just check. Sounds like an all-day affair. Is there any way I can watch your videos? Oh, that's I replied already. Hello, this is... Maybe I went too far ahead. No, back. Okay, let me see what I have. Let me see. You are hilarious. Thank you. Thank you. I think it's a compliment. Okay. Can you cook for me 5 meals per day, 7 days a week? You would not believe this. Okay, but I can. Because I'm a head chef. Okay, this is my first profession ever. Okay, I studied for 4 years. to become a head chef, and then I start working in a restaurants, in the kitchens. And I decided that this is too much for me, and this is a very hard job, and this is men's job, not a woman's job, okay? So I went to medical uni, right? It's not that I went to medical uni. The thing what happened was that I've decided that I need to go to university, and then every university has exams. And I passed all the exams so well that they decided that I'm gonna be a doctor. So these people decided for me. When I went, I spent there for 7 years in a uni, right? So that's where my knowledge comes from. Okay, I'm very relaxed about people because I got dead people. At the first few years, we were for a few hours every day in prosectorium. There were dead bodies, and we were cutting them and removing all the layers and looking what is inside the human. That's what I did. Okay, now you think it's funny? Hilarious, yeah? Okay, I hope God bless you with your quadruplets. Are you married? That's awesome. Okay, thank you so much. God bless me. You know, so I cannot complain. Okay, I cannot complain. Thank you so much for tonight. It was nice chatting. It was nice seeing someone new. It was amazing life. I've enjoyed it. I hope you too, and I see you later if I can. Right? Thank you so much, and bye.